Hello, this is a free resource from myself, Sam Adkins, the natural anxiety specialist, and it aims to do three things. The first one is help you understand what anxiety is. The second one is to help you explain it to someone else and to also help your close friends and family understand how best to support you. So, you may be watching this because you have anxiety and you want to prepare a conversation with your friends, or you may be someone watching this because someone you know is anxious and they want you to have a better understanding of them. So, let's start with the absolute basics. What is anxiety? If you're reading this or watching this, then you probably have either your own experience of anxiety or you're being shown it by someone who has anxiety and wants you to understand how it is for them. Anxiety is a mental illness. Like any other illness, such as a physical illness, it can affect you without warning and be difficult to manage. Let's compare it for a moment to a broken leg. Like a broken leg, it hurts. It makes life super difficult to get around, and unlike a broken leg, you can't see it, and our culture somehow makes it less acceptable. No one chastises you for having a broken leg because, after all, you didn't mean to break it or you didn't plan to break it, did you? It can be the same for anxiety. No one plans to have it, wants it, and would really like to feel better. The trouble is, anxiety is a lot more complex to treat than a broken leg, which, let's face it, needs a cast, maybe some resetting, some immobilization, and time to heal. So, what does anxiety feel like? Well, it can be different for everyone, but for many, it's a feeling of fear, worry, and uneasiness. It can cause physical feelings such as nausea, stomach upset, dizziness, dry mouth, muscle tension, headaches, etc., and fatigue. Yes, that's right, it can actually make you feel physically sick. For some people, it's an all the time feeling of unease that makes them feel very unsafe and as if something really bad is going to happen at any moment. For others, they also can have sudden feelings of absolute panic that come without warning. These times, or panic attacks or anxiety attacks, can be very challenging as they can feel like they might be having something like a heart attack with a tight, painful chest and not being able to get their breath. I'm sure that if you don't suffer from anxiety, you can understand that those moments can be very scary, and if you've had a few of those moments yourself, how easily it would make you want to stay home and avoid situations in case that happen again. And this brings me onto this idea of weakness. Sometimes I hear people tell me that their loved ones see mental illness as a sign of weakness. Mental illness such as anxiety is no more a sign of weakness than having a broken leg is a sign of weakness. It's a bona fide illness and needs recognition and understanding. So, how do we get anxiety? Well, anxiety comes for so many reasons. We may have experienced some psychological trauma recently or in the past. We may have had some physical health issues that are causing or contributing to anxiety that need to be identified and treated. We may always have had low-grade anxiety as a child, and now it's worse as an adult. Often people with anxiety have very high standards and put a lot of pressure on themselves. Sometimes, when their mother was pregnant, she was very stressed, which we now know primes the baby's hormone system to be prone to anxiety and stress too. Or we may have had a parent that modelled anxiety as we were growing up. There are just so many reasons, and usually people have a combination of factors that contribute to their anxiety condition. So how can you help and support someone with anxiety? The first thing is to show up emotionally and ask them what they need. It may be very tough for them to admit to themselves that they need help, so they may be feeling very isolated and lonely in their experience of their anxiety. Often, they may be very fearful that you won't understand. If someone lets you know they are experiencing difficult thoughts and feelings, it's common to feel like you don't know what to do or say, but you don't need to do anything in particular, and you don't need any special training to show someone you care about them. Often just being there for someone and doing small things can be really helpful. They need to be accepted and supported. Telling them to snap out of it is like telling the person with a broken leg to cut off their cast and start walking stairs. Here are some guidelines if you want to support someone with anxiety. There are 6. The first one is listen and show empathy. You may not have experienced chronic anxiety yourself, but try and step into the shoes of the person who has it. Imagine how challenging ordinary occasions and tasks must seem. Do not try and fix them or offer suggestions. Just listen and be compassionate. You can use phrases like, "Gosh, that sounds really challenging," or "I really hear that that's difficult for you." You don't need to solve their problems. The second step is to tell them you are there for them and reassure them, although you don't know how they really feel inside, you're willing to be there and support them in what they need. The third thing is to stay calm. Sometimes it can be really upsetting to hear how anxious your friend or loved one is, so try and be present for them rather than getting lost in your own reaction. It may have taken them great courage to tell you that they need help or show you this video, so just stay really calm and listen. The fourth thing is stay connected. Agree a way between you of asking them how they are that they won't find intrusive. If they are a family member or partner, ask them how you can support them without making them feel wrong or shamed. The fifth thing I want to talk about is that many anxiety sufferers avoid certain situations that heighten their anxiety. This is called avoidance coping. The trouble is that avoidance coping and avoiding these situations often heightens anxiety further. So if you know they're avoiding doing something they normally enjoy, gently encourage them to come and tell them you'll be there for them and that they can leave when they need to. And this stops them avoiding things that they normally enjoy. The last point, number 6, is if your anxiety sufferer is stuck in an anxiety thought loop, finding a way to ground them in reality can help. A well-asked question, a walk in nature, a change of pace or scene can make all the difference. Sometimes they might need a little push to get grounded and to move forward, and other times a push might be too much. Watch for cues. So now I just want to have a final word to anxiety sufferers. You are not alone. You are in the company of around 15% of the population. You are neither broken, you are normal, and are just going through some big challenges right now. If you can, get help from someone who specialises in anxiety and can look at all aspects of you to help you recover. This should include a physical assessment or a referral for one, nutrition and diet, exercise and lifestyle, as well as very important cognitive behaviour therapy and counselling. There are many online courses by different providers to help you, and it is entirely possible that you will find anxiety freedom in the near future. I really encourage you to check out my free anxiety resources online and my courses and programs. You can also work directly with me one-on-one. If you'd like to email me and find out more on what I've got for you for free, go to courses.naturalanxietyspecialist.com or email me sam@naturalanxietyspecialist.com, and I look forward to trying to help you further. Bye for now.